Hello, everyone. I thought I'd give you a little something on buttons, draft angles, and a couple of neat tools that may be used for your e-box assignments or other future projects. The situation is like this. If we look at my model here from the side, and I'm going to shade it up also. We look at it from a strict side view, is that we have a button similar to what you've been doing in your e-box assignment. It's sticking out of the surface, which is rather steep. Now, in order to get a really nice, snug gap around the button here, we do not want to rotate the button in order to make it fit to the top surface. Now let's keep it in a strict Z direction like this. Also, you should know the pulling direction of the tool is going to be in the Z direction as well. So in order to make this button fit nicely to the top surface, we're going to work with the button as well as the hole around it. But let's start with the hole. So we want a slight gap between the side walls of the button and the top surface right here. So I'm going to start by offsetting these side walls slightly in order to create that gap I want. So I pick the surface, that one, and also that one, and I go Object Edit, Offset, and check my values here. Obviously that's the wrong way, so let's hit 0.5 millimeters. Or maybe it wasn't the wrong way. It's indicating on the inside, so it's minus. It's always the opposite of what you think. There we go. So I hit offset, and I now have a surface which I'm going to use to intersect with my top surface right here. So let's do that. Pick nothing. And let's get rid of that shading, and we can also hide the button now. Make sure we are in the default layer working as well. So I want to create a curve on surface onto the top surface. In order to do so, I will pick this surface first, then go intersect, make sure I have on first surface checked, and then go, and then pick these two surfaces. I now have a curve on surface here, and I no longer need these. I'm going to hide them away as well in my no-show layer, like so. Okay, so this is the contour of my hole, the theoretical corner of that hole. So I'm going to introduce to you a neat little tool called Surface Rolled Edge and Fillet Flange. And let's have a look at what that can do for us. It can do a number of different things. First of all, I'm going to hit the curve on surfaces to see what that does. It did something, didn't it? It doesn't look quite right for a hole. So we need to reorient our arrows here. So if I hit that one, it looks a lot nicer. Notice now that it automatically trims the top surface. It checks for continuity to the top surface. I've set that to G2 curvature. And it looks rather nice. But let's go through it and see what it actually does. I've set it to curvature. I have three different options here: circular, tangent, and curvature. I can also create a draft angle for my flange, which is something I really want. And the pulling direction of the tool is set to the Z direction, pretty much what I wanted. So let's have a look at this from the side and see what it has done. I'm going to get rid of those locators. We all know now that we have a curvature continuity, and check for that draft angle. We could do that by using this tool, obviously, but we can also get a good idea manually to check it. So I'm going to draw a little curve here. Let's see what's back here. Why did those come back? Locators. So if I go curve, new speed curve, and I snap it to the end of that, and I go in the strict Z direction like so. And we go back to the side view and have a look. Now, this line here represents my tooling direction, and the angle between this curve and the sidewall here should be about 2 degrees in order for it to clear when I pull my tool apart. And it looks quite right. So the angle between this line and the wall here should be about 2 degrees. If I move it down here, same situation should be on this side. So the angle between the wall here and my tooling direction should be about 2 degrees. So it looks about right. What else is there? Let's shade this up and have a look at it and see what it looks like. Get rid of the model as well. It looks rather nice, doesn't it? So if we go back to using Query Edit, this tool right here, we have a number of other options as well. I'm going to skip down to the surface structure because we are really interested in how many spans we have, what degrees we have on our surfaces, and so on. And what we can see here is, sorry, go back to Query Edit. There we go. Is that it looks okay-ish. We have a bunch of spans here. Question is, can we reduce the number of spans? Yes, we can. We can actually ask Alias to create, instead of one single NURB surface, multiple surfaces, like so. And that reduces the number of, if we call it spans or surfaces. And for Class A surfacing, we often prefer to use what is called Bezier surfaces like that. That's a slightly different math from NURBS, but it works beautifully. And it reduces the number of different spans. And this, to me, looks quite all right. So there isn't much more we need to do with this, really. It looks nice. We have curvature around the edge right here. We do have our draft angle, and we did that only using one tool. So let's then have a look at what this looks like with the button, together with the button, and see what we can do about that. Get rid of the locators, also that tool. So I'm going to bring back our button here. Shade that up and see what it looks like. We have a really nice, snug fit, evenly around the button right here. So it looks nice. Only problem is that the button is now sticking out, and I want it to follow the contour of the top surface right here. And we can easily fix that by trimming and rounding off the new edge of the button. So let's do that. First of all, I need something to intersect my sidewalls of the button with. So I'm gonna once more use the offset function. So I'm going to offset the top surface right here. It is strangely pointing inwards, but indicating outwards. So let's also check what value we have there. 0.5. I'd like to be that to be slightly bigger, so 0.8 maybe, and hit offset like that. And we get an offset surface right here. Please notice now that it is still trimmed, so we need to get rid of the hole in it. And we do that by go untrim all. And now we can get rid of the curves on surfaces on our offset surface. Next step is to intersect the sidewalls of the button with our offset surface right here. What's going on? Intersect with that one, like so. And we can now get rid of that surface into our no-show layer, like so. And we can start trimming our button down. First of all, we can get rid of the top surfaces right here. We don't need those anymore, so I'm going to delete those. And secondly, we can trim our button surfaces below our intersect line. So now it's starting to look rather nice. It's sticking out slightly, equal to our offset distance. So we can now put the lid back onto the button. I need to go get that in my no-show layer. And it should be right there, I think. Those locators are really persistent, aren't they? So there's my offset surface. Untrim it and pick our curves on surface. Get rid of those. So I want to really project the edge here, the top of my button onto this surface right here. So let's do that. So I go project and normal, and I hit the edge of my button right here. Oops. Like so. And we can now trim this surface like so. And we have a lid on our button. The only thing left now is to round off the edge on the button. And we will do that by using a tool called Surface Fillet, which is one of my favorites in case you haven't noticed. So you go surfaces, multi-surface fillet, surface fillet, and set that to, I don't know, probably not curvature in this case, since they're really flat, these two. So let's go with tangent. I hit the walls first, which are pink or turn pink, and then I hit the top surface. Make sure the arrows are pointing into the center of our radius. And set that to either, we can check the difference. So radius, center radius 0.35. No, we probably want that a good 0.8 or something. Now let's have a look at what this looks like. Toggle the model. Looks rather nice, doesn't it? I think I'm gonna go with that, but we got it from the side view. Bring back the model. We can see that the radius is, it looks like it's bigger over here and kind of smaller over here. It's kind of hard to see, but if I go like that and shade it, you can see there's a difference. If I, instead of choosing radius here, go with chord, that means that the distance between the two edges of my radius will be held constant. And that gives the impression of a more even radius along the edge. You can play around with this and see what it does. It's quite useful in some cases. And I may want to bring that up slightly as well, up to maybe 1 or not 2, that's too big, but let's stick with 1. I'm gonna keep it that way. And see what that looks like. So if we get rid of the model again and have a look, and we have quite a nice snug fit button lowered into our casing. So this is an alternate way of creating things sticking out from a plastic cover with a draft angle and with a tight fit. All right, that's all, folks. See you soon. Bye-bye.